did Justin ever ask his ex to help put an end to the harassment her fans put you through?
I do not stand for women tearing women down. Please, for me, know that that's not my heart.
She doesn't owe me anything. I respect her a lot. If that was something that she felt was necessary, then that would be amazing.
I don't like seeing people be disrespectful or rude to other people, so please don't do that.
There's a very long history there, and it's not my relationship. It has nothing to do with me, so I respect that a lot.
Hello? It's over. I told my wife. Who is this?
I did something that really hurt him. I did something very immature and stupid. It damaged the idea of me for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
She went out and did things that hurt me, and so it was just this hurt. She hurt me, and then before tour, we just really stopped talking. I was really upset, and rather than, before that in my previous relationship, I went off and just went crazy and went wild, just was, being reckless. Yeah, I got better. And so she would reach out to people that would that we knew. And she would get you'd hear like, oh, he's doing so well. And she would be so pissed off because she's like, he's not doing well without me.
Facts?
Yeah.
Right?
Your husband was in a very public relationship. They were kids. People were obsessed with the idea of them. People were confused on the timeline you're talking about of is she a homewrecker? So I guess my question is, Hailey, were you ever with Justin romantically at the same time as her?
No. Not one time. When him and I started hanging out, okay, let's just put it this way. When him and I ever started hooking up or anything of that sort, he was not ever in a relationship, ever, at any point. I would never, it's not my character to mess with someone's relationship. I would just never do that. I was raised better than that. I'm not interested in doing that, and I never was. I can say, period, point blank, I was never with him when he was in a relationship with him.
A single Instagram follow shouldn't matter. And yet, every few months, the internet completely loses its mind over the same quiet detail it's been obsessing over for years. Stephen Baldwin still follows Selena Gomez. Not recently, not accidentally, not as part of some new drama rollout. He's been following her the entire time. And what's wild isn't the follow itself, it's the fact that people keep rediscovering it like it's breaking news. Screenshots resurface, comment sections explode, TikToks rack up millions of views, and suddenly, everyone is asking the same question again. Why does this still exist? And why does it feel so uncomfortable? Because the truth is, this isn't just about Instagram. It's about timing, perception, and a celebrity story the internet refuses to let end. And the deeper you look at it, the messier it gets. But to understand why this one small click keeps reigniting chaos, you have to go back to when people first noticed it, and what was happening at the exact same moment. Because this didn't resurface randomly. It resurfaced during peak tension. And that changes everything. The follow didn't become a talking point until the internet was already on edge. Back when online tension between Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber hit one of its loudest moments, fans were watching everything. Posts, likes, captions, old screenshots, deleted stories. Nothing was off limits. That was when people went into full detective mode. And during one of those deep dives, someone noticed something strange. Stephen Baldwin, Hailey's father, was following Selena Gomez. Not newly, not quietly hidden, just there. And once that realization hit, people couldn't unsee it. Because when you break it down, the situation is awkward no matter how you slice it. Selena Gomez isn't just any celebrity. She's Justin Bieber's most famous ex, a relationship that played out publicly for years. Songs written, breakups analyzed, millions of fans emotionally invested. Then Justin marries Hailey, and from that moment on, comparisons never stopped. Social media turned everything into a competition. Fans picked sides, narratives formed, and every small interaction was treated like evidence in an ongoing case. So when people realized that Hailey's own father was still following Selena through all of that, it raised eyebrows. A lot of them. And once screenshots started circulating, the story took on a life of its own. But what really made it stick wasn't just the follow. It was the timing. Because this discovery happened right in the middle of one of the internet's favorite controversies. And that moment changed how people interpreted everything. At the height of online tension, one specific situation pushed fans into overdrive. It was what the internet later labeled Eyebrowgate. A short moment, a vague post, no direct callouts, but the internet didn't need confirmation. People assumed meaning, fans read intention, and suddenly, speculation spread faster than facts ever could. That's when timelines were pulled apart. Old posts resurfaced, likes were analyzed frame by frame, and everyone connected to the situation became part of the conversation, whether they wanted to be or not. That's when Stephen Baldwin's follow list came under scrutiny. And once people noticed Selena's name sitting there, untouched, unchanged, and uninterrupted by years of drama, it felt strange. Because this wasn't a casual celebrity follow discovered in isolation. This was found during a moment where emotions were already high and trust was already low. Context matters online, and in that context, the follow felt louder than it probably ever was intended to be. The internet didn't ask whether Stephen Baldwin meant anything by it. They asked why he never changed it, because unfollowing would have been easy. Silence would have gone unnoticed. But keeping the follow through every viral moment made people wonder if it was intentional, or if no one involved realized how it looked from the outside. And once that question entered the chat, the situation got uncomfortable fast. Think about it without fan bias for a second. Your daughter marries someone with a deeply public past. That past includes a former relationship so famous, it still dominates comment sections years later. Fans constantly compare the two women involved. Every post becomes a battleground. Every rumor gets amplified. Now imagine being the parent in that situation. Every move you make online suddenly feels symbolic. Every follow feels like a statement, even if it isn't. That's why Stephen Baldwin's decision to keep following Selena stands out. Because in a digital world obsessed with optics, neutrality doesn't exist. People don't see a passive follow. They see a choice. And that's where speculation fills the silence. Some people argue it's completely innocent. Maybe he's a fan of her work. Maybe he's followed her for years and never thought twice about it. Maybe he doesn't live online the way fans do. All possible. But the internet doesn't operate on possibility, it operates on perception. And from the outside, the optics are messy. Because out of every artist, actor, and celebrity in the world, the one person he still follows happens to be the woman constantly placed opposite his daughter in the most toxic online narratives imaginable. That coincidence alone keeps people talking. And once fans start talking, theories aren't far behind, some of them harmless, others not so much. One of the theories that refuses to disappear is the idea that the account isn't always his, that maybe at some point, Hailey herself has access. No proof, no confirmation, just speculation. But the fact that people even entertain the idea says a lot about how this situation is perceived. Because imagining someone checking their partner's ex's page, especially under a parent's account, feels uncomfortable. It suggests lingering attention, curiosity, or unresolved tension. Again, there's no evidence this is happening. But the internet doesn't need evidence when silence leaves room for imagination. Other fans lean toward a simpler explanation, that Stephen Baldwin doesn't care about online drama, that he follows who he wants and ignores the noise completely. And honestly, that explanation might be the most realistic. But it doesn't stop the speculation, because in celebrity culture, doing nothing is still doing something, especially when millions of people are watching. And that's what makes this situation so sticky. It exists in the space between probably meaningless and why does this feel loaded? But then, something unexpected happened that briefly shifted the entire narrative. For a moment, it looked like things were finally cooling down. And that moment involved the two people at the center of it all. There was a short window when everything seemed different. After online harassment reached an extreme level, Selena Gomez made a public statement asking her fans to stop sending hate. She didn't deflect, she didn't escalate, she tried to shut it down. That alone surprised a lot of people, but what came next surprised them even more. Selena and Hailey followed each other on Instagram, just like that. No announcement, no captions, no explanations, just a quiet gesture that looked like a peace offering. For a moment, it felt like the internet didn't know what to do, because the storyline everyone had been arguing over suddenly lost fuel. Fans wondered if the tension was finally over, if everything had been exaggerated, if people had read too much into everything all along. And in that brief moment, the narrative softened. But it didn't last, because just as quietly as the mutual follow appeared, it disappeared again. No statements, no drama, just gone. And suddenly, we were right back where we started. Except this time, Stephen Baldwin's follow felt even more noticeable. Because while Selena and Hailey unfollowed each other, his never changed. And that contrast is what pulled the spotlight back onto him. What made this moment different is that Selena didn't have to do any of that. She didn't have to speak out. She didn't have to intervene. She didn't have to follow Hailey at all. But she did. And for many people watching, that effort mattered. It made the ongoing obsession with Stephen Baldwin's follow feel even stranger. Because if the two women involved were at least attempting to calm things down, why was everyone still dissecting a parent's social media choices? The answer is simple: because the internet doesn't let stories end. Especially when they involve unresolved emotions, parasocial attachment, and years of digital history. Stephen Baldwin's follow became a symbol. Not because of what it meant, but because of what people needed it to mean. It became something fans could point to when trying to justify their side of the story. And once a symbol forms online, it never stays small. Every time new drama pops up, real or imagined, someone remembers the follow. Screenshots start circulating again. Think pieces get reposted. Comment sections reignite. It's the same cycle over and over, and the reactions are always predictable. One side sees it as proof that even Hailey's own family prefers Selena, proof that something has always been off behind the scenes, proof that narratives fans believe are somehow validated. The other side rolls their eyes. They argue it means nothing, that people are desperate to cling to drama, that reading into a single follow is ridiculous. And then there's the third group, the exhausted spectators, begging everyone to move on. But those voices rarely win. Because this story taps into something bigger than just celebrity gossip. It highlights how social media has completely erased the line between public and private, and nowhere is that more obvious than in family dynamics. Before Instagram, you wouldn't know who your in-laws stayed friendly with. Maybe they exchanged holiday cards, maybe they were polite at events, maybe they never spoke again. But it wasn't public knowledge. Now everything is visible. Every follow, every like, every interaction. And when millions of people have access to that information, it stops being neutral. Stephen Baldwin's follow list isn't just his anymore, it's content. And content gets interpreted. From Hailey's perspective, this situation has to be frustrating on some level. Even if she never acknowledges it publicly, she's built a career, a brand, an identity separate from her husband. And yet, she's constantly pulled back into a narrative centered on a relationship that ended long before her marriage even began. Every post she shares gets compared. Every caption gets analyzed. Every silence gets filled with assumptions. And now, even her father's social media activity gets folded into the storyline. That's not something anyone can fully control, which is why no matter what explanation people come up with, the situation feels like a no-win scenario. If Stephen Baldwin unfollows Selena, people will ask why now. If he keeps following her, people assume meaning. If anyone addresses it, it becomes a bigger headline. And if no one does, the internet fills in the blanks. This is why the story keeps resurfacing. Not because anything new is happening, but because nothing ever resolves. Old information gets recycled as fresh drama. New audiences discover it for the first time and react the same way people did years ago. And platforms reward that reaction with attention. Algorithms don't care that it's old, they care that people engage. So every few months, the same screenshots trend, the same arguments replay, the same shock gets manufactured all over again. And Stephen Baldwin continues following Selena Gomez, completely unchanged by the chaos surrounding it. Which raises the most uncomfortable possibility of all. That maybe none of the people involved care nearly as much as the internet does. At the end of the day, this follow is both meaningless and overloaded with meaning, depending on who's looking at it. It could be innocent, it could be thoughtless, it could be intentional, or it could simply be irrelevant. The truth is, we'll probably never know. And that uncertainty is exactly why the story won't die. Because unresolved narratives are internet gold. They invite projection, they encourage debate, and they keep people emotionally invested in stories they've been following for years. So, the next time you see a post acting shocked that Stephen Baldwin still follows Selena Gomez, remember this isn't new. It's just the internet doing what it does best, digging up old information, reframing it as fresh drama, and pulling everyone back into a story that never really ended. Whether that's fair or exhausting is up for debate. But one thing is clear, as long as celebrity lives are lived online, and as long as fans feel entitled to analyze every move, stories like this will keep resurfacing. And a single Instagram follow will continue to spark chaos far bigger than it ever deserved to.